welcome back to Stay One Up, where we always stay one up and never two down. Today we have Igimeji. Igimeji is a band created by Lottie the musician and Kayla Scales. You guys, welcome them. Applaud. That's applaud sound effects. That's mine. All right, cool. Yeah. So Lottie and Kayla, introduce yourself. Tell them who you are and tell them a little bit about Igimeji.
You go first.
My name is Kayla. I am a vocalist and a singer-songwriter and pianist.
I knew this was going to happen in the garage. I knew it.
Right.
But it's cool.
Anyway, yeah, I'm a vocalist, keyboardist, songwriter, musician from Arlington, Texas, and I do Igimeji. Yeah, so I just...
And I'm Lottie, underscore the musician, guitarist, drummer, singer, rapper, songwriter, part-time recording engineer, all the hats, doing what I can.
He has 5 Instagrams.
My first,
don't drop them. Do not drop them names.
All of them. But yeah, Igimeji is like one of the first legit projects. Like before I was even ever really a solo artist, there was Igimeji first.
So you guys mesh very well on stage. I'll tell you that. And honestly, hearing Kayla live was at the Abnormal Review, which surprised me because I'm gonna tell you this: you're a small person. I did not know you can project a beautiful voice. Like you was just your diaphragm exists.
Yes.
We ain't talking about lungs. Your diaphragm exists because you really sang from the diaphragm, not even from the heart, the diaphragm.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
You guys have this single, Magic, right? Now, I love it. It's beautiful. It's really magical, pun intended.
Yep.
But, so why did you guys choose Magic to be your single on the project, from the project, out of all the other songs you guys recorded?
I would say at the time it's like the first song that we probably felt compelled to record. Like we hadn't recorded most of the EP at the time that we released the single. It's really kind of been like a progression. So we started out as a duo, got a drummer, found a bassist, really started kind of working out our band stage presence and that sound. And then when we had like performed enough, we felt like it was ready in time to basically record Magic, which is probably going to be the first one. We've been performing all the other ones and perfecting those. But Magic was like the first song I ever wrote.
Yeah, it really was the first song we had wrote for Igimeji.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was...
So that was like the first one.
So you mentioned perfecting it, like your songs on the project, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say, you're telling me that this project wasn't really final until you performed these, test the waters, and kind of fixed it? Is that what it was? Is that what I'm hearing?
In a way, at least.
Yeah.
Like before you step into a studio to record a song, you want to have at least like performed this piece or just done it a bunch of times to know the ins and outs. Because like it's not even necessarily to say you so that you know exactly what you'll do when you get into the studio. Because when you get into the studio, it could literally not sound anything like you've been recording or playing it.
True.
Because anywhere you play it or perform it, it doesn't sound the same. So like just feeling that we know the song enough in how we play it together. Because with two of us, it's easy. I'm playing guitar, she's singing. But with the bass man, it's extra. With the drummer, it's extra. They have to kind of fill that and familiarize at least. And then when we step into the studio, it's like, all right, it's just a matter of doing a good take of something that we've practiced doing a bunch of times.
So, go ahead and tell me the roles you guys play for Igimeji, because I know it's different, right? You are the bass, is that correct? And that's
guitar.
not the correct. And that's not the correct instrument. Just you tell them, not me tell them.
I play the guitar and I sing.
Okay.
I play keys and I sing.
So, and then you guys have 2 other people.
Yes,
who do the other stuff.
Jalen is our drummer.
Right.
She's fantastic. And then Aaron right now is our bassist.
Okay. So, when it comes down to being musicians, how does that play in songwriting?
Like, we bring our songs to each other.
Okay.
At the core.
Okay.
So the drum and the bass was kind of like secondary. At the start of Igimeji, it was really 2 of us. Kayla would bring an idea, and we would craft that, and I'd develop some guitar for it.
Right.
She already had the keys in mind usually. Or I would approach with something that I'd already written the guitar for, and she would write her own lyrics or her own verse and add her backup vocals to it. Those are really like the only ways that we start songs. We've kind of probably started to understand more that like to create that lock-in band, their input is also maybe as important in how we want them to perform as well.
Right.
Like I think about it, and it's like the easiest way I can explain this is Jalen is an excellent drummer at the stuff that she loves to drum.
Okay.
So I kind of want to craft songs with that in mind as well. Now more recently than at least when we did the Magic or even when we recorded the EP.
So Kayla, when it comes down to your vocals on this, is the vocals the beginning of the instrumentals, or do the instrumentals come first?
Actually, when I write songs, it tends to be, I'll actually have the whole song in my head. I don't know how it's like I channel something random, and it could come from anywhere. It could come from like me looking at a picture, or me having like a conversation with someone, or me like, you know, doing something like watering my plants or whatever. And it just kind of comes from that, and I try to remember that. I'll try to, you know, get my phone out and do the voice recorder thing. And then from there, I'll bring it to Lottie, and Lottie will usually create some sort of guitar part that goes with it. And then that's basically how we write a song together. That's just
kind of starts in that process. Mm-hmm. And then if we want to add a bridge, that usually comes along later, depending on who's compelled to like write something about it.
There's so many parts to this.
Yeah, we have some songs that I'm thinking about now that like might literally already be enough for another EP. Some that we like started that are like just hidden in recording.
So how do you decide that? Like, how do you decide that this is gonna be an EP or this is gonna be an album? And is it just because you have all these projects lined up and you just throw them in there?
I think it's a cross between where we are as artists, and that's something that we've actually had closer conversations about. If you want to kind of,
I feel like it's whenever you reach a certain amount of songs, it's like, okay, we have these 6 or these 7 or these 5 great songs, so we're gonna put that out. So that's an EP,
right?
You know? So
like, but I think maybe more so to answer the question, if I get you right, there's a difference between like how we kind of channel our releases and see what's worthy of putting out. Right. Like I have different projects that I'm involved in, and how I've come to understand recording and dropping content is really like do it. I think Kayla likes to take her time a lot more and kind of sit with them and marinate with them, and she's okay with like going back in several times to complete this to get it done. I'm like, we've been in the studio twice. Why isn't this song like out right now? Type shit.
And I'm like, wait though. We gotta suss out this part first.
I like the dynamic of it because you have one person who is creating the routine of it, right? Creating the outline of how this project could be, right? And you have someone who is like, all right, it sounds good, it's ready, but it's hard sometimes because I guess if there's multiple people in a group, you have to deal with different personalities and timing and emotions. If
it's 4 of y'all writing the songs, that's like a different kind of bag. But with the 2 of us, even there's already enough qualms between the 2 of us writing songs in a way, and how like we choose to like decide that it's okay. But also the yielding balance between those 2, I think, is probably an energy that people feel when they listen to Igimeji, instead of when they listen to like Lottie, the solo artist, or even 808 Cents or Group Nameless. There's a touch of me and someone else in there.
His other 5 accounts.
Right.
So you guys are dropping a project.
Yes.
When is the drop date for this project?
July 11th.
Okay.
7/11.
7/11. Is that really a specific, like, did you guys do it on purpose, or was that just how it happened?
It keeps happening coincidentally on purpose.
Right.
I mean, it's such a good day because we released Magic on 7/11, so it's like
last year, I believe. So. Was it last year?
Mm-hmm.
It's been
Didn't
a year.
Beyonce release something on 7/11? No.
We should talk about Beyonce. A deal with the 7/11.
Cool.
You should just not the one Preach hates, you know. Preach be hating on 7/11
your event
like that.
when that happens.
Yeah.
But so the new project, can I drop the title of it?
Yes.
So it's called 2 Trees. Now I'm just gonna like hint out there, these 2 trees represent y'all too.
Yes.
So give us a little bit more background to the album title, and a little bit more background to how you guys came about with the final decision of titling it Two Trees?
Tell them about the idea, the name, and I'll talk about the album cover.
So the Two Trees is actually literally what Igimeji means. It's it's Yoruba, so it's a Nigerian language spoken by a specific tribe. And so I took that concept and created Igimeji, that's our name. And then from there, I just really wanted something that connected with that aesthetic. I kept going back a lot and forth about what I wanted the album cover to be or what we wanted the album cover to be, and
or the EP cover.
EP cover and like really.
But we had done like a whole different idea, and you'll probably see it used more. But part of like the process was also, again, like in that artistic clash between the two of us, was I felt like we had drafted a lot of this stuff and put energy towards this idea for the album cover.
Okay.
And then she was like towards the end, and I don't like it.
Dang it. All this work and thought process.
But she basically kind of came up with this idea that was going to be simple and straightforward, and she expressed it to me, and I was like, let's go with it because we've got to get this out there. But it's also it's a bit, it can be seen as something that's stressful, but it can also be a blessing because it's a different way of curating what I'm also involved in.
Right.
Because in my own projects and a lot of my other projects, I'm the go person. Like, I'm the one booking the studio time. I'm the one going in. I'm saying we're doing this.
Right.
Right. So it's different when someone's like, no, we're going to do this instead.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right.
Well,
fine.
At least you have the patience to listen and deal with that.
Yeah. But
I
it's
think
like,
a part of it has to do with y'all's dynamic, though.
Yeah. And it's taken time to also like really understand that, and that goes into our history as well. But listening for what your sound could also be just through someone else's move, and understanding that could also just be another channel that helps you. It's like, it's not just about you being able to do the end all be on say on. Yeah.
So I listened to the project already. And I texted you when I listened to it.
Yes.
And I was like, dude, I can't even listen to this through because the instrumental already makes me like want to cry. But I
R&B.
say that on a good note because there's not much music these days that move me like that, you know? So I'm a fan of Spotify's playlist, right? Because it's already pre-made for me.
Nice.
Like, I don't have the energy to put into anything else to create my own. But I do love that this EP, correct, moves me differently and emotionally, and allows my emotion to be emotionally acceptable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's kind of like listening to like people sing live, and you're like, damn, their voice just moves me, and it just makes me want to cry with them because it's just so that beautiful, you know. And I really love that you guys have this dynamic that meshes together very well. Like, there's no separation of the oil and the water. It like all mixes together. I love how you guys include solos in the project, which when you're listening to it, and if you're listening to it all the way through, it makes a big difference, you know?
Yeah.
It gives you a break from just like the project itself, which is great. Because sometimes, like, I'm gonna just say this because Meek Mill, you listen to his project, he's yelling at you the whole time, and it's like, bruh, I need a break, bro. After track 5, I'm having anxiety. You're targeting me. But that's just what I feel like. You guys give a whole different way of listening to an EP, right? Because some people think it's just all the way through, but you guys have breaks in between, which is different.
Yeah.
It's not something that normally people do.
I think like it's that, and that came about probably naturally. Like the order, did you listen to them in order?
I listened to it the way you put me, but I saw your track list. It wasn't the order that was on the track list.
Yeah, one is missing because Magic's already out.
Yeah.
But if you still kind of listen to it in the order, we kind of sat down together and like ironed that out.
Yeah.
And if you've ever heard us perform these songs live, like there's probably an element of familiarity to it as well. Because like there's something about, I've been excited about this, and I'll shout him out, Abel Delilah. I remember seeing Abel Delilah sounds in live shows, but at the time we're playing at shows where it's like we don't have a sound guy necessarily.
Yeah.
Stuff isn't like as crisp.
Right.
So I remember when they dropped the EP that they did, and it had like those songs on there, and I was like, this is what it's supposed to sound
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
And it had like beautiful guitar solos in there. You could hear Kane's voice, and there's just like a different element. So like as live artists, there's an element of like fun about that for us. So people who have heard us perform a bunch of times, it's like, cool, now you're about to
No, I
Yeah.
see what you guys
It's
do at the
yeah.
abnormal review. You guys do a lot of improv, but then it fall into y'all's performances, you know, which I love fully. And a part of you guys is at the abnormal review, you guys, you know, mesh as well too. It's all about the meshing and connection of
doing
y'all.
a cipher.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I will say this. I love how in one of the songs, I don't remember the title, Kayla sings the whole way through in the beginning. And I always love to hear you sneak up into that song because you wouldn't think that this is a song that you would hop into. Because a lot of it too is like we talked about before, fantasy and whatever, you know. And it might have been about like a dynamic of you guys or a moment you guys had in life, right? So when you guys write music, do you guys write about situations in y'all's dynamic?
Yes.
Yes, but then some of them, like Great was actually written before.
Okay.
Not like before we started like playing together, but like really before we decided that we were like a band.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but like Running was written by, it was written like after a fight we had.
Yeah.
After we had already
I
started
figured.
being
I
a
just
band.
didn't want to like.
Yeah.
I wanted y'all to
Oh, yeah.
tell me that before I even assume
Yeah.
anything.
Magic was written in jail in Nepal to Kayla. The hook, at least in the very beginning, like the very, very start of the song that's the bare idea of it, basically. And then UC is more like, I wrote UC for like us to tell the world in a sense.
Yeah.
And I wrote some of it with Kayla in mind, basically. Like in the first verse, it says, "In my heart is wisdom," or "In my heart is wisdom," and that's kind of like a little play on words with where she was working at the time. But yeah, all of these Water was written kind of not for us, but we kind of eventually like. She brought up that we should write that song together.
I feel like that's a
and finish
good generalized
Mix.
topic in that song. You know, because arguments are like that. You know, there's always one person who thinks it's right and one person who thinks it's wrong. So it's a back and forth thing, definitely. But I really love the project in general. I really love that I love it because I can cry anytime I want when I'm driving. No judgment needed.
Yes.
All the
Also,
tears.
I love
All the
I
tears.
love the connection that you guys have. It really helps that you guys are in this relationship, you know, and it makes sense, you know. So when the project drops, where's it gonna be? And when is the next time you'll be performing any songs on the project after July 11th live?
July 11th, it drops everywhere. Spotify, I'm going to make sure for sure it's on everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Tidal, MediaNet, YouTube, anywhere that you can find music and or for free. We'll be performing our next show, full band, at Trang's book signing and release event.
The
And
Black
that's
Box Theater.
The Black Box 215 in Arlington on July 16th.
Okay.
I believe we have one duo set at the Wine Therapist either before that or the night after that. I think it's the night after that.
Yeah.
But every time we perform, we're always going to do something from the EP, basically.
No, I love it.
It's getting to where we're going to have to start shaking up sets and introducing new things.
Well, I love that you guys really distinguish all that you guys do separately, you know, and I know you guys are in different, not just, you know, different bands and different endeavors, right, in life in general. So I love it. I love that you guys are doing this together, and it's just beautiful. I'll tell you that. The project is very beautiful. It's a really good project.
Thank you.
It really moved me.
Appreciate that.
And not in a sad way. Like, I felt happy listening to it, you know? So I love it.
Yeah.
Look at any of these cameras, and we can do it one at a time. Tell the audience and the listeners how they can stay one up at all times.
You stay one up by just constantly, not to an unhealthy standpoint, but just doing the work, not necessarily expecting the reward right now, but believing that in whatever you're doing, that's already fulfilling. You have to learn how to like stay one up, by seeing what you're already doing is fulfilling and just capitalizing on that and just being patient, basically.
And you can stay one up by staying connected to your community and supporting your local artists.
100%.
All right, there you have it, you guys. We are here. Becky the Poet. Stay one up, never two down. You have Igimeji here. Listen to their new project.
Thank you for getting the name right.
No, I
People
actually
be struggling.
After
People be
I
struggling.
learned how to say it, I was really proud of myself because I love saying it now.
Yep. Now you can flex on people. When we do your event, you can just be like, "Hey guys, good friends over there, Igimeji. Gonna play a couple songs for y'all."
Because it's catchy. It is catchy.
All right, you
Let's go.
guys. We out here.